you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Strike the Blood episode 16. Now in this episode, we start off by seeing Dmitri Vatler get attacked by Nagisa. Nagisa, alright? He gets one-shotted. She legit one-shotted him, like something out of Bleach, alright? She ended up using Aurora's 12th familiar, which is called Alrescha Glaciez or something like that. Alrescha Glaciez. And she leaves him a bloody mess. And this conversation, this scene, other than that, this scene, it's just raises a lot of questions. We see Vatler start to talk about how Kojo, the reason why Kojo absorbed / consumed Aurora was because she was watching. She referring to the person who's controlling Nagisa, and because Nagisa was being controlled, and that person calls him Snake Charmer, which makes me think it's Natsuki, but Natsuki can't use her magic because of something that gets explained later on in the episode, unless that was before she lost her magic. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, I guess it was, because after the opening plays, we see Kojo and Himiragi and Yuma get warped away by Natsuki. Or at least that's what Yuma says. So maybe it was Natsuki controlling her. But then again, Vatler referred to her as 12th, as in the 12th familiar. So was it the 12th familiar herself that was controlling Nagisa? Like, has the 12th familiar already acknowledged Kojo, and is it like activating on its own, like by its own will? Like, I don't know. This seems just interesting. After Vatler gets taken out, Nagisa walks away, and we see Mimori, her mom, and Kojo's mom. And the person controlling Nagisa says that, it's not a big deal because it's all part of the contract that they made. So what actions were part of that contract? Protecting Nagisa, protecting Kojo, protecting the island, making sure that the prisoners don't escape. Like what was part of the contract? So, and who was the person she made this contract with? So there are a lot of questions raised in this section of the episode. I'm still waiting to figure out more about Yaze's group, like that person he was episodes and episodes ago he was talking to, and she was like talking through a bird or something like that. I'm still waiting. And was it ever revealed who that person was who was watching as Kojo activated Regulus Arm for the first time? And he beat Eustache. There are a few people. There are a few things, who it could be. And so that this part of the episode was by far the most interesting part for me, because after this, things kind of get not simpler. There's another part of the episode where things aren't really simple, but after this, it kind of like. It's not that the quality drops, it's just that nothing lives up to how good this part of the episode was. Because after this, like I said, Himiragi and Yuma and Kojo get warped away by Natsuki. And after that, the actual prison barrier appears. So, I mean, what's going on with this is that Aya shows up, Yuma's mom, Aya Tokuyuki. And she says that the barriers, like, it's part of Natsuki's dream, and since she woke up from her eternal dream, the barrier appeared in reality, which is the opposite of what logic would dictate. Like you would think that something that appears in a dream would disappear once the dream ended, but now you're saying once the dream ended, it appears in reality. Like, I mean, she's the Witch of the Void, so I guess something like that's possible. But, well, I mean, it has to be possible since they're saying it. But still, I mean, well, whatever. I'll just accept it. Um, yeah. So Aya, after that, I believe what happens after that is, if I'm remembering correctly, she takes away Leblu, or whatever the thing's name was. She takes away Aya takes away Yuma's guardian. Okay, and what that does is it severs her spiritual past or something like that, some type of logic and terminology like that. And after that, Aya pulls out this grimoire, and she says that with that grimoire, she sealed Natsuki's time away. So, in other words, Natsuki gets younger. Okay, and this would explain why a little bit earlier, right before this scene, we see Asagi walking through the streets, and this guy walks up there and goes, here's some candy for you and your daughter. She's like, daughter, what are you talking about? She turns around, and all of a sudden there's this little girl tugging at her skirt saying, "Mama." And that caught me off guard. That was funny, and Asagi's reaction to it was funny too. But that little girl looks exactly like Natsuki. Well, except a little Natsuki is a little girl, but well, she's a lolly. This is an even lollier version of Natsuki. All right, I just invented a new word. All right, yeah. This Natsuki is even lollier than the last Natsuki. All right. So the fact that her time got sealed away explains why she would become younger like this, and also because of the fact that her time was sealed away and she became younger like that, she can't use her magic. So in order to get her magic back, they're going to have to destroy that grimoire or deactivate it or something. But yeah, back to the scene with Aya and Imaragi and Kojo, Yuma. All these other escapees end up showing up, right? And none of them really look like, these criminals that they're being built up to be. Like the worst, the strongest and worst magic criminals in existence. None of them really look like that except for that girl. And the only reason the girl looks like that is because it's really easy to make girls look like criminals because don't take that the wrong way. I'm just saying that guys are more likely to be criminals. Therefore, you have more of an image of what a male criminal would look like. Therefore, to make a criminal, it's like the worst criminal in existence. It's harder to make. It's harder to make a guy look like that because when it comes to girls, you just don't see them like that. Therefore, it's just easy to, boom, there, done. You make them look bad, and they already look like a criminal. So, but we see a lot of male cool. What am I even talking about? Forget. Never mind. Forget it. Right. The point is that none of these guys really look like, the worst criminals in existence. Okay. And the thing that happens after this is we learn that they don't have to be legitimately beaten, pretty much. Right. Instead of, like, imagine they have a health bar. In order to be beaten, they don't have to lose all of their health bar. In reality, all they need to do is lose like half, or maybe even less than that. Because as soon as they lose some stamina or magic power, they get sent back inside the barrier. Okay? And it's going to stay like that until they kill Natsuki. So all these guys, they want to go and look for Natsuki and kill her, pretty much. And this is when Sayaka, well, there's this little fight scene between one of the guys. Who cares? All right, who cares? This one guy with blonde hair, whatever. Who cares? All right, seriously. All right, Sayaka comes in, shooting some fire, calling some lightning, and she drives Himiragi and Kojo away. And when asked if she could heal Yuma, she says, no, you need to be like a strong witch or some type of magic doctor in order to heal her. So Kojo says, hey, my mom is a magic physician, so she can save Yuma, so let's go to the MAR lab, which of course stands for Mark and Awakens Romance. But after that, we go back to Asagi, and this scene was funny too. Asagi's scenes were just funny in this episode. She's talking with little Natsuki, and she starts imagining what if this girl really is her daughter who's come like who's traveled through time and stuff. She's thinking, but she doesn't look like me or Kojo. So she's already assuming that she's gonna get married to Kojo and she's gonna beat all the other girls in his harem. So I thought that was hilarious. But apparently she doesn't like being called Natsuki. So whether that's because of some type of experience in her past or that she was able to overcome later in life, or if it's just because of maybe it's just like a side effect of the grimoire, but she doesn't like being called Natsuki Minamiya, so Usagi calls her Sana, which is a really, I guess she just called that name out of nowhere, just pulled it out of nowhere. Like, I don't know where she came up with that, but hey, whatever. It's not like it's a big deal or anything. Um, After that, we go back to Himeragi and Kojo and Sayaka, and they're going to Mar, which which actually stands for Magna Ataraxia Research. Whatever, they're some type of industrial company. Who cares? The point, well, it's kind of relevant, but whatever. It turns out that Mimori is the head researcher, and she ends up coming out, which she's uh, she's interesting. I've seen parents like her before who like act that way towards their children and tease them a lot, but she's still pretty cool. She's really teasing Gojo, saying, oh, which one of these girls is your girlfriend? Have you done it yet? I'm gonna be a grandma soon. I'm so excited. Like she's really teasing him. So that was pretty funny. And once they get inside, it turns out she's looking at Yuma's injuries, and it turns out she already knows Yuma's a witch. Right, so she's in the know, and she knows that Kojo's a progenitor too, because of what happened earlier in the episode. She just knows. Uh, it's clear she knows things. But Kojo's under the impression she doesn't know. So sooner or later he'll probably find out. Probably later though. Nagisa ends up coming out as well. Apparently it's not just Kojo who she calls by name. She calls Mimori by name too. So it's not like it's Kojo specifically that she just doesn't have respect for him or anything like that. She just calls people by name no matter who they are. So I don't know. Well, maybe are they? No, they aren't they? They're legit like blood related siblings, right? So I can understand that if they were like step siblings and step children or something like that, but I think they're legit blood related. Anyway, she comes out and she ends up leaving with Sayaka, whatever. And Mimori, she starts fondling Yuma, all right, and she tells Himeragi that she's a psychometrician or something like that. She can sense everything about a person's body by touching their skin, which is a legitimate power. Like, for instance, in Zettai Karen children, you have psychometers all over the place. Shio's is a psychometer, or however it's pronounced. So it's not like this power is unheard of. But then she goes and says that her powers specifically activate by fondling girls' boobs. And the funny part is that Himeragi actually believed her. The coach's like, oh, no, that's obviously not true. And Himeragi, that is, ends up saying pretty much like mother, like son. Right? So they both have that obsession. So that was pretty funny too. But Mimori and Himeragi end up taking Yuma into the lab to go fix her up and everything. And Kojo goes to go fix himself up because Mimori could figure out that he was injured. So she tells him to go fix himself up. And Sayaka comes in. And the fact that Kojo has his shirt open and Sayaka comes in, something's gonna happen. So, yeah, it turns out that his cut isn't a normal cut because it's not healing. So in order to make it heal, she pretty much offers herself to him, right, and like lets him suck her blood, but it never gets that far. She thought that she offered to step on him because she thought that would turn him on. He's like, no, that's the very small percentage of men are into that kind of thing. No. All right. And then Himeragi comes in, which caught me off guard because I was I was really focused on the scene. So I didn't even think about the possibility of Himeragi coming in, even though she literally does that every time. But she did come in, and that was really funny. I thought that was funny. The look on her face with Sayaka sitting there with like her legs open, and so that was hilarious. That's a real Kodak moment. But during this scene where they're trying to Himuragi's trying to figure out what's going on and all that, Kojo just ends up collapsing like that. So yeah, something's up with him. It involves that cut, definitely. So I guess we'll find out what exactly is wrong with him next episode. And the way the episode ends is one of those escapees, the bald one who looks like what's that guy's name? What's that guy's name from Dragon Ball Z? Babidi or something like that. The guy who was with Boo. it's been a while since I've seen something related to Dragon Ball, but yeah, when in the preview we see him like they zoom up to his face and he looks just like Bobbity. Like I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, he ends up finding Asagi and Natsuki, and that's how the episode ends. So he's gonna start attacking the next episode. And yeah, that's it for the episode. I thought it was too short, to be honest. It was over before I knew it, which was disappointing. But overall, I thought it was a good episode. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 because the episode as a whole was good. But when you add on top of that the stuff at the beginning with Nagisa and Vatler and Glaciers or whatever, and Mimori and the person who's controlling that stuff bumps it up a little bit. So it's not so good that I'd say it's a great episode, but I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. And that's that. Yeah. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.